Hey everybody, it's Phil here at Woods Tree Farm. Thanks for tuning in today. I am down in the bottom of the low spot in the back of my field. And a few weeks ago, I was out here with the County Line subsoiler. This was the first time I used it a couple weeks ago. I'll put a link to that video down in the description, and I'll put one up here as well. But I came through here and ripped up the soil. The subsoiler did a pretty good job. In a few spots I could get it down as far as it could go, which is like 22 inches. In a few other spots I had to pull it up a little bit because I didn't have enough traction to pull through the muddy area. But I think the subsoiler's done a great job at drying this area out, this area just behind the camera, which I'll show you here in a minute. And I made a mistake though, and I'll show you what I did. After I made my passes with the subsoiler kind of across the slope, left to right, which I'll show you here in a second, I decided kind of just before I finished to make a couple other passes in the other direction. I made, I think, 2 passes up and down the slope. And I'm going to show you why that was a bad decision. And now I've got to clean up the mess. Okay, so this is the area, and it's always kind of hard to tell slope on camera, but the field slopes in 3 directions. It slopes from over here down. It slopes from over here down to this low spot, and from straight out in front of us down towards this low spot. And if I turn all the way around, there's an area right here in the woods where it's supposed to drain, and right over here there's a natural gully where this is supposed to drain off to, and eventually it gets down to a creek that I have back in the woods. But what's happened is, over time, this area here right in front of me has filled up with sediment, and as leaves have built up year over year, and sticks and other things, and this area here just along the field edge is now higher than the gully, and this area can't drain. So water just sits over in this area, and all last year, of course it was wetter last fall and over the winter, but all last year this was almost impassable, even with a tractor. So things have dried out quite a bit, and I think the subsoiling has helped. But I'll show you the mistake that I made and what I need to do about it now. So what happened was I made 2 passes with the subsoiler. One straight up and down this slope here, and another one about 15 feet over to the right. And if you see this pile right here, this pile of dirt, this is all silt and sediment from a heavy rain that washed right down the rip by the subsoiler. And this is actually the hole where it's coming out. So that right there, and we can follow this line straight on up, this is the rip that I made with the subsoiler. And when we got a heavy rain, water got down into the little trench made by the subsoiler, and it was just running right downhill until it found its way out with this hole right down here, and then it deposited all of this sediment right down here, which is actually making my problem worse, because eventually, what sediment is not stopped right here is going to go right down there. And I had the same issue right over here at the end of the other rip that I made, which runs right along here, comes down right in front of us, and then deposited right out here. All of this lighter colored sandy soil, it wasn't here before, and that got forced out here when we got a heavy rain. What I'm going to do about it, what I'm going to try to do today, I've got the box blade hooked up to the tractor. I'm going to try to scrape all of the sediment back out, take it back uphill, and then I'm going to put the box blade at an angle and try to clean out this little area so the water can drain. So let's see how it goes. All right, so you saw me change directions, trying to pull the box blade full of soil uphill. Wasn't working too well, so I turned it around. Now I'm going to use the front end loader a little bit more, and I think I'm actually going to try to start all the way down at the drainage ravine and then try to get the right slope that I want all the way back on my way out, rather than trying to start at the top. All right, well now I'm going to lower the right side of the box blade so that when I get back in here, I'm hoping that the right side of the blade can kind of get in right next to this tree and dig this area out a little bit. So I can't get in there with my front end loader at an angle, and I'm hoping to kind of start a little bit of a trench here that I can extend out a few feet out into this area, and that'll be the start of kind of the drainage from the field edge. All right, so now you can tell the blade's leaning over to the right, so I'm hoping that right side digs in really well. Okay, well I think that's pretty good. I think there's just a little bit of slope from here so that water can kind of get down in here and get off into the woods. I think in order to do any better, I'd either need to dig a trench by hand or get a backhoe or an excavator in here and dig it a little bit more. But everything that I pulled out, all the soil that I pulled out from up there, I've been dropping in a bunch of random piles throughout the field. And what I'll do is just straighten out the box blade and spread those out in a couple different areas, and I won't even know that they're there. But look how much moisture is still being held in this ground down here. And I dug a hole a foot deep, more than a foot deep. So probably not going to be a bad idea to try to bring the subsoiler back through here again after I level this out and make a couple more passes in here close to the tree line, but I'll keep it this way so that water doesn't run down them, and see if I can't get this soil here to dry out a little bit more. All right, well, to wrap this up, I'm gonna level out the box blade and then try to clean up this area a little bit. Okay, well that's all I'm going to do with this for now, and I think what I'll do is just wait and see what it does when it rains. But I think, I haven't put a level on it, I haven't put a string on it, but I think there's just enough slope right through this section here to let the water run off down that way. This is kind of the only area where I think if there's a low spot, it's right in here. But we'll wait and see. I think there might be enough slope to let it drain. I am going to go ahead and hook up the subsoiler as well and just try to get a couple more runs right through here. You can see this gets afternoon shade. I mean, it's height of the day, the heat of the day here right now, and this is all shaded. So if any moisture sits in here, it's going to take a while to dry out because of that shade. So I've got to make sure that it either drains into the woods or drains into the ground, or it's just going to sit here wet all the time. But I think I've about got it. You can see I kind of ran a couple of tire tracks in and out of there as my last pass. So hopefully the water kind of gets in the tire tracks and goes that way. The grass should return pretty quickly, and this will be okay. All right, well, that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions for what I could have done differently on this project to make it work better, certainly leave that down in the comments. And, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. We do a lot of this kind of work on this channel. So if this is your first time here, this is what you can expect. And we've got a 43-acre property. We're starting a Christmas tree farm. And there's plenty to do out here to get this place in shape for the seasonal events that we want to do and for our future years of Christmas tree planting. So hope you subscribe, hope you see a comment and interact on the channel. And of course, like I said, if you have any suggestions or feedback on what you would do differently in my case, leave those in comments as well. I appreciate that. I've gotten a lot of that over the last 50-some videos that I published, and I'm very appreciative of the comments and feedback that I get. That helps me do my job out here a little bit better. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye. And right now I am in, we're gonna start again. Hey everybody, Phil, don't play with your hair. And there's kind of a natural little gully. Excuse me, bug went in my throat.